Are Georgia Democrats watching their biggest opportunity slip through their fingers? The whispers are growing louder, and some party insiders are genuinely worried their leading candidate might not be able to seal the deal in November. Before we dive into this developing story, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. Georgia Democrats are facing what many are calling a once-in-a-generation chance to win back the governor's mansion. It's been 20 years since they last held this office, and this year, they thought they had their golden ticket. Keisha Lance Bottoms. Her resume reads like a political fairy tale: former judge, city council member, the dynamic mayor of Atlanta, and even a senior advisor in the White House. She's dominating the primary polls, buoyed by high name recognition, especially in the crucial Atlanta metro area. The former President Joe Biden has thrown his support behind her, a significant endorsement. But here's where the unease starts to creep in. A third of the Democratic electorate is still undecided, and beneath the surface of poll numbers, a deeper concern is simmering among strategists and officials. It's not about whether Bottoms can win the primary. It's about whether she can win the general election. The jewel in her professional crown, leading the city of Atlanta, is also becoming her biggest potential hurdle. Her tenure as mayor coincided with a perfect storm of challenges for any major city: the onset of the pandemic, widespread social unrest, and a spike in crime. Now, Democrats worry these very issues could be weaponized against her, jeopardizing their best shot at flipping the governorship. As one Georgia-based Democratic strategist put it, Keisha Lance Bottoms faces a very high hurdle due to her strong identification with the city. The fear is palpable. Republicans are poised to capitalize on, and even exaggerate, the criticisms of her 4 years in office. Some Democrats are blunt, saying, "The Republicans will eat her for lunch. The Republicans are begging us to nominate her." The sentiment is that if she's at the top of the ticket, the entire Democratic slate could go down with her. Conversely, they believe that without her, a sweep is possible. The stakes, for Georgia, are that high. The Bottoms campaign, however, dismisses these concerns as mere political hand-wringing. They insist their focus is on standing up to Donald Trump's candidate for governor. Tanisha Cameron, a spokesperson for the campaign, stated that political insiders have underestimated Keisha Lance Bottoms her entire career, and she has constantly proven them wrong. She highlighted Bottoms' poll leads in both primary and general elections, attributing them to voters' belief in her vision and her proven track record in Atlanta, including attracting Fortune 500 companies and leaving the city with a substantial budget surplus. Bottoms is campaigning on a platform of expanding Medicaid and guaranteeing universal pre-K. She's also been a vocal advocate for voting rights, releasing a comprehensive plan to protect ballot access in Georgia after the Supreme Court's ruling. This election is seen by many as the Democratic Party's last chance in a generation to gain full control of Georgia's political levers, especially with Republican Governor Brian Kemp set to redraw district lines and GOP gubernatorial candidates continuing to sow doubt about election integrity. Her primary opponents Michael Thurmond, Jason Estevez, and Jeff Duncan are all vying for second place, collectively keeping Bottoms below the 50 threshold needed to win outright. This lack of a clear, unifying figure has left some Georgia Democrats feeling a void. "We don't have a true, strong light," admits Essence Johnson, Cobb County Democratic chair, expressing concern about the party's messaging compared to past strong candidates like Stacey Abrams and Raphael Warnock. Yet, not everyone is convinced that Bottoms is a losing proposition. Some Democrats point to the Republican Party's own internal struggles and Donald Trump's declining approval ratings as bigger liabilities. John Jackson, former DeKalb County Democratic chair, believes the Republican Party is more underwater than Keisha Lance Bottoms is and sees her as a competitive general election candidate. An early poll, though within the margin of error, does show Bottoms leading the top 3 Republican contenders. A Bottoms victory would be historic, the first black woman and the first black governor of Georgia. The increased scrutiny on Bottoms' performance, particularly regarding public safety, mirrors challenges faced by other black women leaders navigating difficult times. Supporters argue the hand-wringing is confined to very insider Politico Atlanta circles. They recall her leadership during social unrest, her willingness to stand up to the governor on mask mandates, and her televised appeal for calm alongside rappers Killer Mike and T.I. However, the persistent worry remains. Andrew Heaton, a Georgia-based Democratic strategist, states that most Democrats who are being honest are nervous about the campaign of Mayor Bottoms. He warns that Republicans already have their attack ads written, ready to target her tenure in Atlanta. Her decision not to seek a second term as mayor in 2021, following a period of intense unrest, continues to be a focal point. Critics perceive it as her running away from the job, a narrative she counters by emphasizing she completed her term and chose to pursue White House opportunities. The challenges she faced in 2020, the pandemic, rising crime, and the aftermath of George Floyd and Rayshard Brooks' deaths, are undeniable. While her response to social unrest drew bipartisan praise, the lingering fear is that Republicans will use images of burning buildings and unrest to define her. Jason Estevez, a primary opponent, has already attacked her over the tragic death of Sequoia Turner, a young girl killed near protest sites. Bottoms defended her decisions, acknowledging the pain and the universal question of what could have been done differently. Meanwhile, Republicans, despite their own internal battles, are already previewing their general election strategy. An April ad from Rick Jackson accused the former mayor of abandoning her city and letting Atlanta burn. This preemptive attack fuels the fears of Democrats like State Representative Michelle O, who emphasizes the paramount importance of a candidate's ability to win in November, regardless of personal ties or emotional choices. Can Keisha Lance Bottoms overcome these deeply ingrained concerns and secure a historic victory? Or will the ghosts of her mayoral tenure prove too formidable a foe? So what do you think about this? Can Keisha Lance Bottoms win the Georgia governorship, or are the doubts about her record too significant? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one.